Hello students, our today's topic is what is object-oriented programming. So object-oriented programming is of one of the concept which is implemented by most of the today's language. Earlier or even today, uh, we do procedural programming also. Let me show you what is a procedural programming. Whatever we were doing earlier were procedural. It means that in such programming, these are just the focus is on solving the problem. Suppose we wanted to do something. Suppose that we wanted to add two numbers. So our focus was just to add two numbers. And for that for adding those two numbers, we were doing what? We were creating variables where we were displaying a message that please input two numbers. Then we were taking the values in the variables and then we were calculating the sum and then printing. That's it. And in this kind of approach, we have just this one main function, and in that main function, uh, we write our code sequentially in a step, in a procedure, and get our work done. So this approach is, you may call, earlier when the programming languages were in their development phase and all. At that time, we were using only procedural way. There was no existence of object oriented. And one of the best example of procedural programming language is C. And earlier we were used to with the simple languages like Basic, QBasic. You have already seen that. COBOL, Fortran, all these are example of procedural language where our focus is just in solving the problem. So procedural methodology has got some issues, some problem. What were those problems? We'll discuss these things in our different class, another class. So to come over the problem which procedural programming languages had, a new approach was developed, which is known as object-oriented programming. So after C language, a better version of C language or object-oriented version of C language came. C is one of the programming language. Okay, I've told you about this. C++ came. C++ is one of the object-oriented, successful object-oriented programming language. And after C++, Java came. Java is again object-oriented programming. But in our so far, we have made some programs, we have done something, but all of the programs which were made so far were procedural, like this. Okay. But then what's the problem? No problem is there. You can make all the programs in procedural way also, but object-oriented is something very different. Today, almost all the programs are made using that concept. So object-oriented concept, it's something that you can't understand in one class or two class. Understanding what is object-oriented is a process. You will suddenly come to know that, oh yes, this is object-oriented. It may take one class or it may take so many classes to actually learn what is object-oriented. Now that's totally depend on your focus, how much focused you are, and that will let you understand that concept either early or late. So, enough intro. Now, let us begin the journey of object oriented. And to understand this, let me give you few real life examples first. Object oriented. Here, object. What is the meaning of object? Object means a thing, something. Thing means like this is a mouse, is an object. This is a mobile phone, is an object. This is a keyboard, an object. Like you can see in your house also, a lot of things are there. They all are object. So every object has something, some common thing related with them. Like let us take example of anything which is very you all might have that. Look at this. This is a mouse. This is an object. And whatever I'm going to tell you about mouse, you may correlate these things with all the things that you look around. So this is a mouse. Mouse has some attribute. Maybe you can call it its specialty, its quality. That is attribute. What is its attribute? Its attribute is size. Look at its size. It is around 4 inches. Look at the color. It's black, and in the base it is gray. And what? Its design, size is there, color is there. Which company it belongs? It is of this company, Logitech. And when it was manufactured, it has some manufacturing date also. So these are some attribute related with this object. The same way you can relate these attributes with any other object. So object possess some attribute. Attribute means the quality or specialty or its visistaya kind of. Now, another thing related with any object is, other than its attribute, is its behavior. We technically call these terms attribute and behavior. I mean, why I'm using this word attribute, which is not so common, and behavior, of course, it is common, but why am because anywhere if you'll go for studying an object oriented, these two terms are there: the attribute of an object and behavior. So you need to understand what do I mean when I'm talking about a behavior. Behavior means, in simple words, the function of that object. To be very clear, the function of that object is known as its behavior. I mean, what is the function of this mouse? We can drag mouse like this, like this, like this. We drag it. We can click the button, left button, right button. What we are doing with the mouse? We are dragging the mouse over the surface. We are clicking. We are double clicking. There is a scroll button, scrolling wheel, which helps us to scroll. So these are few at behavior or few function related with this object. Okay. Now, if I'll ask, is the concept object oriented is clear? No, not at all. We are just trying to go in detail of what an object is in respect of Java coding. Likewise, take any example. Like let us take any household uh, equipment, which is most commonly available in everybody's house. Mm, let us take a music player. Okay, think of music player as an object, and let us try to correlate various attributes. I mean, it's Attribute, just I just to show you with the help of a mouse that what attributes could be there in a music system. Again, the size of the music system, the color of the music system, and which company it's belong, how many speakers are there, and other such things. These all are attributes. Behavior, we can play music, we can set the sound, we can increase the volume, we can decrease the volume. So these things we can do with that music system. Beside this, a lot of other things can be done with that. Hmm. Uh, but these are the main basic thing. Let us now take another example of an object. You have mixer grinder at your home. Now let us try to correlate all the stuff that I'm discussing about, like mouse or the music system. They have no relevancy with each other. They are not related to each other. But still, we may find few things common in all of them. We are just trying to understand what is an object in respect of Java, in context of Java coding. Whatever I'm telling you now will help you to understand what exactly an object oriented is. So let us keep the things simple, and I'd like to request you to watch this video in a high quality so that you could read the text, the code that will come further, and watch it again and again. And if you have doubt, you may just ask me. Fine. So I was talking about a mixer grinder. Now, what are the attributes? Attribute, again, maybe its size, its color, the company it belongs, and number of speed label is all, maybe. What is the function of it? It can make grind spices for you. It can mix up something. You can prepare shake out of it, and these are the functions related with that. Let us take one more example, like a fan, a ceiling fan or a table fan in your home. Again, its size, the number of wings, the color, again the company, its price. These all are the attribute of it. Now the function. So function is the motor moves, and it moves the wing, and it gives us uh, breeze like or air or cool ourselves. So this is the function. And other function is there are different speed levels, 1 2 3. We can move slow, we can move it fast, we can move it even faster. So these are the functions related with that. So this way, if we'll see any object, then you can just simply find its attribute and its behavior or the functions related with that. Now let us try to find some space where we can see programming in form of object. Right now we were just watching simple normal any object, and now let us find any object in programming in softwares. So let me give you one very simple example with this. Let us start with a simple example. Suppose you went to bank, bank where we deposit money, take out money, and take loan, and so in bank, softwares are used for everything. Okay. So what do we normally do in bank? We normally go to deposit some money. We normally go bank to take out some money. We go bank to take loan. And if we have taken loan, then we need to pay the interest. We need to uh, repay the loan amount and all. Bankers need to open your account, close your account, find the transaction in your account. They need to see certain things in your account. They need to perform different operations in your account. They need to charge some amount for some specific task you have done. So all these are functions. So if we see a banking software as an object, then we may find its attribute also and its function also. So before talking about attribute, let us talk about the function. And to keep the things simple, let us not involve a lot of functions. So let us involve two, three simple functions. The first function may be opening account. Oh, yes, this is one of the functions that software does. Huh? With the help of software, we open our account. Not we, the bankers open your account, but they use the function of opening account. If due to any case they need to close your account, then yes, they can close the account. Another function, closing account. One of the most common function is depositing the sum of money. If you're depositing money, then this depositing of money is also is a function. So function taking out or withdrawing some money out of there is another function. Checking a balance is another function. So these are few. If you'll discuss in detail, then we will find lots and lots of hundreds of functions maybe there. But we are not making the things complicated. So keep the things very simple. So these are few functions related with that. Now, what about the behavior? Oh, sorry, this was about the behavior, but what about the attribute? Attribute are sometimes also called the data. Now, don't worry much about I'm involving data here. So for opening account, what do we need? We need name of the account holder, its other detail, its biodata, like its his father name, his age, his address proof, and other relevant details. So for opening account, what are the attributes? Name, customer's address, customer's father's name, mother's name, customer's age, and address proof. If you'll provide these things, then you may get your account opened. So these are the data or the attribute needed for that function to perform. I mean, if you want the function opening account to work, then it needs some data. And these were the data which it needs. Now let us correlate this with a mixer grinder. Suppose you want to grind some spices, then you must have the spices first, no? And then you can grind it in that. The same way, if you want to open account, then you must have a person who wants to get the account opened. So here now we need to understand a little bit. Data is needed and functions are also needed. In fact, function need data to work. It may be a little confusing or for you, but it's quite easy. You will understand it slowly. Don't worry if you're not getting the point. And with few more examples, let us try to clear the things. Suppose you have made a calculator or you bought a calculator, calculator, normal calculator, or let me show you a calculator over your screen. This is a calculator, suppose, a standard calculator that we normally find in shops or at home. Now, how many function this particular calculator can do? This is an object, okay? Calculator is an object, okay? Now we are talking about this calculator in programming perspective. Now, don't take this object that way. I mean, don't talk about its color, don't talk about its height and weight. These are also the attributes, but this time I'm going to include something more, which is more close to programming. Look, how many functions we can do? We can do this division, we can do multiplication, we can subtract, we can add. Okay, these are the functionality which are related with this, which are made in this object. Okay, so in order to sum, in order to add, what do we need? We need some data. And here comes the concept of data. So in order to perform any operation or in order to perform any function, we need data. Most of the cases we need data. And can you give an example where we do not need data in order to get the function done to work? Take example of a fan. Fan, yes. Now, sir, you switched back to another object. It's just to make the concept clear. Look, as I said, that understanding object-oriented programming is not that easy. You will have to understand every little bit of the things, then you can understand. So, when we switch on the fan, what it does? It just simply starts moving, and it doesn't need any data. Just switch on. It is functioning. It is start functioning. But a similar thing which has a motor, the mixer grinder, if you'll switch on the mixer grinder, it will, if it is the vessel is empty, the container which contains something for grinding is empty, then is it that practical, like moving a fan and moving a mixer grinder without anything? Are both the things similar? Moving fan in this way is practical thing we do, but moving a mixer grinder in this way is not at all practical. So we may call here that for mixer grinder we need data. Hmm. Now, if you are getting this point, you may understand a concept here. Most of the function need data. Few function doesn't need data. Who will decide this? Who will decide this? That which function will need data, which will not need data? No, what is it confusing? Don't get confused. Being a programmer, it is your responsibility to decide which function will need what data. So once again, in order to make this concept little more clear, I'd like to show you few example. What I'm trying to make the point clear here, why data is needed for a function. Why data is needed for a function. What is a function? Function we have been discussing. Functions like adding is a function, subtracting is a function, multiplying. These all are functions. And give some more example. Yes, opening account in case of banking software, reserving a ticket, finding out the route of a train which is moving. These all are functions. When we use a ticket reservation program in railways or in air flight and all, it also has lot of functions, and it also required data. Now let us, if you have started the discussion, then you must also understand this example also. Suppose you want to find a train between Ranchi to Delhi. Suppose you want to find. What you just need to do, you need to open any not IRCT site where it shows the detail of a train. Then it asks a function. You want to know the train. You click that function, then the function starts, and then that function needs data. It needs data. Without data, it can't help you. At least it needs to know from where you want to go to where you want to go, on which date you want to go. And once you feed these things, then only it may help you and give you the detail of the route and the number of trains available. So this is just one of the function within that software. So another thing, let me give you one more example. I mean, with this example, the example that I'm going to show you, I just want to make the thing clear in your mind that this is Excel, one of the most widely and the most useful software in the world. Excel has a lot of functions. You must have used few functions, like sum is one of the function, and we need to provide some data like sum within the bracket, within the parenthesis. I'm providing 5 comma 6. What it will do? It will find the sum of those numbers. Again, average is a function. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm giving a lot of data. It will find average of this number. If you want to find a square root, we have this function, square root of 6. So these are the functions which need data. It need one data. It can take so many data. It also can take so many data. What will happen if you'll not give data? SQRT. I'm not giving any data to it. It will tell you the formula you type contain for information fixing this. It's asking that there is some problem. It need data. And once you'll provide any data, it will be fine. It is working. So who has decided this? That this function will ask for data. Without data, it will not work. Few functions are still there which does not need data. Like a function is today. It doesn't need data. It just tells you the date of today. Now. It tells you the now. It doesn't need data. So the programmers have decided that which function will accept data or which function will not accept data. And who let them decide this? The situation. Situation means situation, yes. We just wanted to know the time. We used now function. We don't need to give any specification what now would do. It doesn't need that. Today, this also doesn't need anything. But this SQRT need a data to find the square root, of course. Here, this average function needs some data to get the average. The sum function need data to. So, dear students, in this class, we just try to learn with few example that object are there. Any object you take, and you'll find its attribute and its behavior related to that. Then we try to correlate the object concept with a program of banking, railway reservation. Then we also came to know that functions are there. Few functions are there which need data. Few functions are there which do not need data. So we'll go for the next topic, or we'll continue from here in the next class. Till then, watch this video again and again and ask your doubts. And thank you, students. Keep learning.